My friends, how can I buy a property in Mexico? Let's talk about the process because it's a very common question. It can get a little bit tricky, but I'll try to explain very easy, but step by step. Okay, step number one, you need to be sure how are you going to buy the property. That meaning you can buy the property with your own money or you are already accepted for a loan in Mexico, okay? In another video, I'm gonna tell you how can you apply for a mortgage loan here in Mexico as a foreigner. Okay, then step number two, you have the property, you already love the house, the apartment, or whatever, you have to present a proposal, a commercial proposal. That's step number one. It's very typical in Mexico, it's a regular market practice that you present a check from, I don't know, $1,000 or $2,000 with a proposal only for the seller to make a courtesy hold on the property. The seller is not going to show the property in the meantime that they resolve if they accept that proposal or not. Okay, let's move to the next step. Let's say that the seller says, okay, I love the proposal, let's move forward. Then you have to sign a private contract. Remember these words, private contract and public contract. Those are the two types of contract you're going to sign here in Mexico. One is private because you're going to sign it only with the other party, meaning buyer and seller and buyer are signing that contract. And the public contract is a contract that you're going to be signing, of course, with the seller, but in front of a notario público, a public notary public here in Mexico. Okay, let me explain the difference. Once you get the offer accepted, you sign a private contract. And that contract, it only has the purpose of keeping you safe in the meantime that you sign the second contract, the public contract. Why? Because in order to sign the public contract, the notario público has to present a lot of documents, for example, in order to be safe and in order for you to know that the property has no debt, has everything is in compliance with Mexican law, that the actual seller that is selling you the property is the real seller. The notario público goes and check with the public registry that only to check if the seller is the same guy that is down in that registry. So to sign a public contract, the notario público has to run a lot of processes. So that's why you need to sign this private contract, just to protect yourself in the meantime that everything is perfect for you to sign the public contract. This private contract is very common for you to pay 10, 15, 20% of the price of the property in that private contract. And the 80% or whatever is missing, you're gonna pay that on the day of the public contract celebration. Then let's move to the next step. You sign the private contract, everything is okay, you paid 15, 10, 20%, whatever, and then you move to the public contract. The notario público is going to tell you, my friend, everything is ready, we are okay to sign the escritura pública, okay? That's the public contract. Listen very carefully. In Mexico, it doesn't matter which state, which city, the only valid property title in Mexico is an escritura pública. If you need to buy a property, real estate property, you can only buy a property through an escritura pública. There's another ways, but they're not valid, okay? They're not in compliance with the Mexican law, so be very, very, very careful with that. Okay, then you go and sign the escritura pública. When you sign the escritura pública, the important part is that that contract goes into the public registry of the property, el registro público de la propiedad. And that office here in Mexico is very important because third parties can check who is the real owner of that property. And it has effects over third parties, okay? So it's very important if you're gonna buy in Mexico, escritura pública. And that's basically the process. As you can see, it's a very tricky, it's very, I don't know how to say it, but it has a lot of specific things you have to be very careful. So my recommendation is be aware to be with the correct and the right people in order to help you and have smooth transactions. Transactions in Mexico can be very smooth if people know how to navigate into that sea. See you next time.